Good evening, District 20 Toastmasters, and welcome to this exceptional workshop for today. I'm gonna share with you a small story before I start the introduction. So first, before I opened my center, I just had like $400 in my pocket. It wasn't much, and everyone was telling me like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? But then I took some courses in financial business, and I managed to turn $400 to a successful center, which was great. It was pretty amazing. Therefore, with the workshop we're going to take today, we're going to learn something about financial literacy. What's financial intelligence? And what are the basics to be financially intelligent? And this is going to form the basics to learn like about how to manage to continue with live meetings instead of online meetings, because, you know, the pandemic is over, right? Thanks God. Hallelujah. So we're going to go back to live meetings. And another thing is that we're going to need to learn how to budget for these physical meetings, you know, in addition to fees, what fees we should charge our members. The second part of the workshop is about how to retain our members and how to add excitement and happiness and more attendance to our meetings. And that was it. Thank you so much. And please give a round of applause to District Toastmaster Nasreen Sheikh to talk about her personal success story. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon to all of you. I am DTM Nasreen Sheikh, reporting from Kuwait. Allow me to share the screen, please. Right, so we are going to talk about my personal plan. Everybody knows what we did.
Excuse me, can I just present the timing?
Yes, sure, please go ahead.
Is this a good time? Okay, we have 30 minutes for our presentation. I will be changing my background to green when it reaches 25 minutes. Is this okay? Okay, and then yellow when it's, I'm sorry, 20 minutes when it's green and 25 yellow, and then 30 minutes red. Okay, thank you so much.
Is this a better angle?
Yes.
All right. So coming back to the personal success of my club, which is called Empowered Women Toastmasters Club, I am not going to talk about what we did. I'm going to talk about how we did it. And that is very, very crucial and interesting, because Empowered Women is a club for women, only women. And you know very well, women are very complicated to attract, very complicated to retain, very complicated to please. So you can imagine, how did we handle all these women, and we are still going strong. So here are some tips. Some ground rules, of course. Please keep your mind and heart open and distraction off. Feel free to express yourself through emotion icons. And if you have any questions, you can type it to the MC and it will be taken up in the Q&A session in the last. By the way, I am a mountaineer as well. So I used my mountaineering experience for my Toastmasters club as well. And how is that possible? Well, these are the lessons that I picked up from my rope instructor when we were scaling 18,000 feet on the Eastern Himalayas. Are we there yet? Not yet. This was the question we keep asking. And the moment our rope instructor tells us that the peak is really far, we would get demotivated. But instead of that, he used to only use these words that, yes, we are almost there. We are almost there, which means it took us 4 days, almost there for 4 days. But he kept saying the same thing, that we are almost there. I used the same policy for my ex-com. Not that I was not honest with them, but I made it look doable and easy. The second important aspect is what? Keep taking small steps, which is consistency. If you are consistent and if you continue taking steps, you don't feel lethargic. That's the rule of hiking and mountaineering. The moment you stop, what happens? All the aches and pains come to the surface. So create that positive working environment, give them responsibility, define the paths, but the consistency is the key. The third aspect is very important, which is be ready to cut that rope. Now, what am I talking about? Cut that rope? Imagine a situation. You have a rope, 4 people are hanging, there is a crevasse, and then there is a blizzard. The capacity of the rope is only to take 3 climbers. Now, what do? To save the remaining 3, you have to cut the rope. Be strong. When you see at any given point of time that among your team, I'm talking, of course, about the XCOM, among your team, among your XCOM, if there is somebody who is not able to perform or is not cooperating and coordinating, be ready to let go. One cannot sustain by being emotional. So be firm, be very, very strong, and be ready to cut that rope, because you have to see the bigger picture. Point number 4, eye on the peak and no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts in this life. There shouldn't be any shortcuts in this life. Everything that takes time to marinate and to culminate into something, it will take its own beautiful time. So no shortcuts. Follow the protocols, one step at a time, and you will see things happening, inshallah. Very important aspect is you have to enjoy your journey. You cannot perform passionately if you are full of responsibilities and you are given a goal and you're being forced, you're supposed to be tracked. Imagine I'm talking about women of all ages and sizes, from all different social backgrounds. We have working women, we have homemakers, we have students. In fact, in our meetings, we have mother-in-laws also joining. We have children participating, and sometimes husbands are also keeping an eye to see what their wives are doing. And we have so much fun. We have some amazing themes. I'm going to share that themes with you. And you cannot imagine our club, my club has become an unwinding club, a center for the women to enjoy and relax and have fun. And we all look forward for those meetings. So the fun part and the enjoyment part is very important to get the best out of your team. The last and the final point, peak, summit the peak, but stay grounded. Don't forget the people who helped you to go up there, and stay humble. Humility is the key to success, and people seldom forget that. And those who forget, definitely they stumble down very bad on their face. So this is something that I want to advise, that stay grounded. No matter what happens, stay grounded. I'll give you an example. I never forced my team for contests. They were all new. In fact, I was the only experienced person, and I'm also not very old. In fact, it is only 3 years with Toastmasters, but comparatively, I was the only senior member there. Now, they are so scared to participate in the contest, but without any pressure, I was just telling them, be yourself. If you clear the club level, then we'll talk about it. If you clear the area level, then we'll talk about it. If you clear the division level, then we'll talk about it. And you will not believe, in area, we bagged 7 awards out of 8. That was some achievement because these girls were new. They had never spoken before. But during the meetings is something that they were being trained for the contest. And they eventually realized, because the fine tuning that we used to do in our regular meeting, the attendees used to be max, yani we have reached around 40 plus. In every club meeting, we used to have 25 plus. Now, to attract those women to the club, there has to be something extraordinary. And that is the key to retain the attendees. As I said, we have to be very clear about our intentions and goal. So what was my vision? What is my intention? My intention is to create that platform for the women who thinks, especially the hijabi women, they think they are not able to face the challenges of the world. They won't be able to speak. They have the hijab issues and the family responsibilities, and they don't have time for it. But you will not believe, some of my members' husbands came home and they thanked me that their wives enrolled in the club, because now they are less frustrated and they nag them less, which means they have found a place to express their emotions. Women like to talk. We all know that. You will not believe, we log in 15 to 20 minutes before the meeting. Every time we check our makeup, lighting, dressing based on the theme. And then what happens? After every meeting, at least for half an hour, we will just chit chat. We will talk personal life. We will discuss on all those topics. Sometimes we gossip, but women, we love that. And that has really helped me to connect and bond with all these women. And then the XCOM, especially the XCOM, each XCOM will do one-to-one connection with the members, either over phone, on chat, or personally they meet, and they try to support them. Some of our members who were not academically sound, they pursued their high school and now are enrolling in the college. This is the power of bonding and unity, the integrity, and finally empowering the women. So you are doing that beyond just speaking and speeches and contest. You are touching their lives, and that really works fine. Secondly, we also involve family. In fact, I have an infant and I'm seen most of the time during all the meetings with my baby. So in our meetings, the children will be hovering in the background. So we came up with this idea. We said we will have a breakout room. And in that breakout room, the children also will be having their table topics and they will be involved. In fact, in one of our meetings, we even had an official table topics of the children. Mothers were excited, fathers were involved. And this actually, we are marking the beginning of our own Gavels Club. Why not? We have sown the seeds. So very soon you will see a Gavels Club of our own Empowered Women Toastmasters Club, because it is not just a women's club. Remember, it's a family club. And all these things keeps on changing. It's a dynamic world. So one formula will not work. We have to read the pulse every now and then change accordingly what suits the best. There is loads of planning, loads of practicing, and precision is something that we women want. So we brainstorm on simple ideas. We brainstorm and we put our entire team to work, be it a small poster, be it any theme, be it preparation. We put our heads together. In fact, we have become best buddies now. So full day we are chatting. So whenever AD will ask me when you are having your XCOM meeting, I'm like, every day. It is amazing because we have become best friends and we talk everything and we enjoy. We support each other. We don't compete with each other. We are, in fact, as one unit, we compete with the other clubs, the other people outside. And we are our own competitors in the sense that we want to become a better version of ourselves. We have a backup for everyone. No one is indispensable. In my club, everybody knows everything because every role player will train the next role player for the job. So at any given point of time, if somebody doesn't show up, no problem. We have a team ready to take up multiple roles. So there is a backup for everyone in every meeting, and they are trained for every job. Can you imagine the power that we step up on the spot? We have dress codes, we have themes, we encourage members to use props, we make creative backgrounds, we invite people and make them feel like a 7-star club. Any guest who comes to our club feels that, because one by one, the ExCom member will follow up and make sure that their needs are met. Reminders are sent, agenda is made at least 1 week before. So that's the planning that we do. In fact, even the calendar that we made and we submitted and we got an award for that, we took the world calendar, we took the other significant dates, and then we mixed and matched. And then we called on some experts to talk on some women-related issues. We had experts from lactation, we had experts from physiotherapists, we had experts pertaining to women issue, and all the ladies enjoyed it because these are the topics they want to talk and know answers about. Because end of the day, I want to ask, if I am a guest or a member, what's in it for me? So you have to make sure that you are delivering that to them. Each member should feel after every meeting that I have gained something new, I have learned something new, and I am more empowered than before. That's value for money and time, isn't it? Let me share the themes with you. These are some of the themes that we had gone through, and there are some which are due. So through the child's eyes and Eid time to celebrate, and we use vibrant colors and backgrounds and props, and we invite family and friends, and we keep on going with them. We have achieved our targets in education, administration, training, membership, and contest. Now the challenge is what? Sometimes it's easy to reach at the top, but to maintain it. So the coming year is even more challenging, because people have seen what you've done. Now, to stay there is something that you have to work on. So we are ready for it. We are prepared for it. And we are happy that we will have yet another year and tenure to experience and enjoy. That is the sense of happiness and satisfaction and contentment you should have. If it's a drag, there is something wrong. So connect with your members, connect with your ExCom, talk to them, try to figure out what is the issue, because I'm sure you will not believe this, but some of our members claimed that they were off their neuromeds after joining Empowered Women. You heard me right. It worked as a therapy for them. Healing therapy. I'm thinking of writing a tagline, the holistic Toastmasters Club, because now they are off their meds. And it was an eye-opener for me, because a small expression, a small connection can bring that change in people's life. We have our group, WhatsApp group of ExCom. Then we have our group of the club members. We also have a group of guests where we keep inviting, we keep talking about Toastmasters, we keep up that fire burning. Never there is a time when it goes down. There is no dip. We keep talking, we keep sharing, we keep caring, we keep discussing, because you have to keep it running. And the leaders got to be self-starters. How do I do that? I keep sending small voice messages, just like that, asking them, what's going on, girls? Get up. What's the plan? What's happening? What's not? And with just one single message, they get charged up. Try it out. It's beautiful. Sometimes surprise them, send some gift, send some sweets, deliver some flowers, spread love, spread humanity, and you will see the results flowing. So again, my dear attendees today, look at some of the brochures that we have here. You will not believe for each and everything how much of thought process is involved. Because, mind you, since we are hijabi women, some of them will not agree to give the photographs. And I'm sure the PQD knows about it, that every time they will ask me personally. I really appreciate that because they understand the problems along with it. I have personally spoken to the mother-in-laws and the husbands, ensuring that their hijab will be intact, that their photos will not be published. Did we stop? No. What we did, we introduced vectors. So we are using vectors now. Problem solved. If there is a problem, there has to be an apt solution for it. Try to figure it out. Don't just stop at any obstacles. These speed breakers are not meant to stop you. They are there for you to realize and contemplate and then put the turbo. Every problem has a solution. Think positively and go ahead. It shouldn't be difficult. Believe me, it is a very simple task, but it has to be your passion. If it is not your passion, if you take it as a job, you will not be able to achieve it. So ask yourself again, whenever you are taking up a job or a responsibility, what is in it for me? What am I going to gain? How am I going to add that value? And once you become a society asset, then you are bringing the change in people's life. Otherwise, if it's a drag, cut the rope. Remember? Cut the rope. These are the mountaineering tips that are to be implemented in your personal life as well and in your Toastmasters experience as well. So, my dear friends and members, if you want to ask me anything, how, the actual how, you're free to do so. Please ask. And we can share and discuss, because I don't know what happens with the men. I'm handling women. They are amazing. So I don't know how to handle the simple beings. So you can ask questions if there are any, if you have any problems, any obstacles. Of course, during Corona and COVID, the standard universal problem, people are missing the physical meeting. But you know what? I banked on that because we have members from Qatar, Canada, Saudi, Bahrain, Oman, Turkey, India, Pakistan. We women cannot leave our homes. We have family, we have responsibilities. So we banked on that. Online, bilingual, all women club. Amazing. There was a time when people were having this image that our club is only for highly qualified females, because we have CAs, we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have qualified, super qualified ladies. Now to break that, what did we do? We introduced bilingual, trilingual concept. English and Urlish. Ask me what's that? The combination of Hindi and English and the combination of Urdu and English. That was one of the most successful meetings that we had in Urdu. I could literally see the shairis, the poetries coming out of people whom I didn't realize that they used to be so quiet and shy. But during that meeting, poetries were flowing. We literally had mushairas and I was zapped. Then I decided, I said, yes, we need to balance this, promote bilingual thing. So as I'm telling you, it's a dynamic scenario. Read the pulse and then change accordingly. Give them what they want, not what you want to serve. Remember the servant leadership concept. It is not just being bossy and commanding them. A leader needs to know the way, show the way, make your hands dirty. You should know the job of each role and you have to train and teach them and continuously motivate them. But remember, you are the leader, so delegate. Don't get overwhelmed and don't get burnt out, because you have to plan and strategize everything. So people, the room is open. You have to ask any questions, please shoot. All the super moms.
Okay, if no one has questions, I really wrote 2 pages of notes that I can maybe now charter another woman club in Bahrain, maybe. I have a question of what's in it for me. It's a bit tricky to find really what's in it for me or for you or for members around. You had, of course, I can see the love within the club. I can see the passion. I can see the family. How can you reach into what's in it for me? Sometimes things might be unsaid that you need to discover what goes behind even the words. So how can you deal with this?
See, the thing is, as I said, we need to reach out to them to know. You cannot offer them unless you know what's lagging in them. So you have to figure out what is lagging in them, and then accordingly try to find out through the club what can we offer them. Like, it's always lack of information, lack of awareness, lack of knowledge. You don't know them, you will not know what's going on in their head and in their heart. So the more information you will have about them, it will be easier for you to approach and offer them that. Because it's not just about public speaking. You remember I said it is about feeling good about themselves. It is about their self-esteem. It is about building their confidence. It is about empowering them. It is about healing them. It is about providing that solution that, yes, every time when I attend this meeting, my serotonins are released. So that's in it for you, the serotonin release. I hope I have answered that.
Yeah. Amazing. There's no, honestly, one answer to this, but yeah, you answered it nicely. I can see our timers will now intrigued to ask questions.
Oh, that's a
There's
beautiful
one, Zizo, there's one question in the chat just for you.
Wow. Sister Fatima is asking a beautiful question, which I always, people ask me that. How did the ladies in your club participate with face hijabs on in your club in contest, especially that the facial expressions count in for scoring? Pardon my ignorance. I'm relatively new too, but I would really want to see how we can make it work for ladies in Saudi Arabia. Sister Fatima, more than the facial expressions, eyes talk. I have reached till division. I was almost there. And alhamdulillah, I've done all that with my face veil on. So it is nothing about showing your face, voice modulation, and your eyes talk. So don't worry about it. In fact, thanks to Corona, everybody is used to with the mask. So they know it doesn't suffocate them and one can survive with their face covered. So don't worry, you can do it. Voice modulation and eyes speak. We are good to go. Don't worry. Thank you. Yes, Z. Okay, our Karusa, our timer.
Yes, I know I should be timer and silent, but I can't. You're amazing. I love the words you use. Before my question, I want to celebrate the amazing wording. I love when you used marinate coming out of the kitchen, but I love that.
Women can't avoid it. We can't avoid it.
I know. Yeah. My question is, I see that you have emphasized a lot on the social side and how women, we intrigue our emotions so much in the learning process. But a new member coming to Toastmasters is actually coming with a learning goal, an educational goal. And then the emotional or the social part just lays there and rules the game. How do you keep the educational part up and running, steamed, and the adrenaline for education going up? My club is hybrid. We have male, female, we're mixed. We have all the tools, but I see the social side is so beautiful and so interesting, and the education, on the other hand, is going down.
See, it is all about balance. Okay. And as I told you, what worked for me is that my XCOM is working one-to-one with each person. We have a strategy. We have a strategy and a task list. The moment a new member steps in, who will handle what? And we have a very close follow-up because it is very complicated. The dashboard and the pathways, it is overwhelming. Even I have seen people who are expert in IT, they are not able to figure out where to do what, Club Central, this, that, they get overwhelmed. What do? Is we conduct a lot of trainings for them on the phone, on Zoom, and this one person who is in charge for them to open the pathways will do the training for them. We'll take them through. We have small videos that we have created. We will be after them. Then we release a lot of posters. We emphasize that, as I said, everybody needs to feel elated and happy. The moment they see their names, that one level completed, I have to do it. And we have a plan for that. Who is going to go where? And we follow it very strictly. We keep inspiring them that once they reach their goal, what's in it for them? Because every time when you are goal oriented and when you make them realize what's coming next is even more exciting, they are looking forward to it. We even help them with their scripts. Not that we are spoon feeding them, but we help them because we have people, some young kids, we have some older women who are not very powerful in their language and vocabulary. So what do? We literally educate them, we teach them English language. So when you have somebody dedicated behind you, imagine how would you feel? Oh, wow, I signed up for Toastmasters, but I'm getting free English fees. So English tuitions. So that's the beauty of it. We go like this. We have a strategy and we follow. We don't make it sound boring. We don't make it sound too big. With small things, one small steps, and then what is there in it for them? That gives them that kick to go ahead. And we are there as it is, as I told you, for each and every problem, we are there. Yes, Hoor, I hope I have answered that.
Yes, beautifully. Thank you so much.
Alazizu.
Hello, dear. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How about you?
I'm great. I'm doing great. Thanks, God.
Alhamdulillah.
So, Dr. Nasreen, what can I say before I ask you my question? Like, oh, I need to hold like both my hands to get what you have studied and what you have done. You have a PhD and master's in alternative medicine. You have studied hijama. You're a trainer in hijama, and you're a therapist as well. You have studied facial reflexology. You have a black belt. Oh my God, I should run away. Third Dan. What's the meaning of Dan, by the way? Like
Third
degree.
Dan. It's like you reach black belt and then there is an advanced training. You keep on adding the dans. So I am a third degree black belt, even dangerous than a black belt. Huh? So I'm a true ninja actually. So don't mistake my job. Okay.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So you're a true feminist. Guys, men over there, you should watch out.
Yes.
And you're also a mountaineer and you're a fitness trainer and a homeschooling mom. Wow. That's amazing. That's super great. So my question is, how do you keep juggling between all of these stuff? Like, where do they fit in your mind?
See, this is what I was telling you. If it's your passion, okay, if it's your passion, you will find time, you will find energy for it. If you don't enjoy it, if you're being forced for it, your productivity goes like this.
Exactly.
It's all about time management.
Yes, that's true. I'm going to tell you something just about myself. Like in Mastery, have you ever read the book Mastery?
Nope.
All right. He tells you like about focusing on one thing and you go from apprenticeship to mastery later on. Okay. So you got to really focus and absorb everything that's related to it. But the thing is with people, they tell you like, just do one thing at a time. That's it. but for me, I enjoy doing so many things, you know. And if you want to master something, you really want to dedicate a lot of time for it. So how like, what do you say to these people? Of course, you face a lot of these accusations and such things.
A very important and a good question, Zizu. And again, it is something which is challenging, where people are saying that multitasking is good. There is another bunch which says multitasking will reduce the quality of your work. Now, how do we find a balance between the two? It is, again, time management. You have to divide it accordingly in such a way that nothing suffers. Prioritize it, and then deal with it with the most top urgent, emergency, important, less important, and so on and so forth. But you have to see that you are not wasting your time in unproductive activities. That is the key. The generation today is suffering because they are doing two grave sins. I'm using the word sin. They are in their comfort zone and they are into entertainment. These are the two areas where you can create magic and history. Get out of that comfort zone, leave entertainment, make your mission so enjoyable that you are not dependent on any other mode of enjoyment and entertainment. That's the way to do it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, dear. Anybody else got any question? Oh, I made myself very clear and easy and simple. Okay, I have something here. Without multitasking, absolutely, we can't manage the district. Sarah Ibrahim says, as part of the XCOM, how can I make the members comfortable with me to be able to share their concerns? What should be the next set of steps I should carry out to cater to their interests? Number one question, do you know them properly, and are you close with them, or they are complete strangers? Because believe me, for me to function, I need my gang. If I have my guys, I can do anything. But if I am forced to work with people who are exact opposite, there will be differences in opinion. But the concept of following the leader, trusting the leader, loving the leader, being dedicated and loyal to the leader has to be there. Even if you are besties, you have to be obedient and ready to follow the commands. So try to see how and who are there in your team. Because if your team is with you like this, then nothing is impossible. But if they themselves are on the east side and you are on the west and the others are on the north and south, you will be pulling and pushing among each other. You need to set your goal in one direction and then pull. That's where the action will happen. So please sit, go for a coffee, talk, chat, connect with them as much as you can. Don't talk about Toastmasters, talk about their personal life. Connect with them first. When the bond and relationship is maintained, then the trust factor will start. Otherwise, you keep asking them and they will keep treating you like a boss. We'll do it now, we'll do it later. Oh, drag. Cut the rope. These days, yeah, she's far, far away. These days, a casual Zoom, phone call, chat, just talk, just share, initiate. From your side, you initiate. Share your personal life with them. Just connect. Zoom coffee. I like that. Yeah, Zoom coffee. So connect with them. Because if you will not connect and if you're working with strangers, it will never, never work. Because your mission becomes their mission. Your responsibility becomes their responsibility. And they are all there together, collectively, working to achieve it. But if you don't connect, it will never work. It will never work. It's boring. It's like those forced marriages that you are asked to stay in, you know, divorce. Okay. My God, it's going on records. All right, take it in good spirits, girls. Okay. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mona. And here I see the red. So signing off, guys. Keep climbing, keep ascending, keep enjoying, but remember to connect and feel happy. And last tip that I give you, breathe in and breathe out. Over to you, MC.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this amazing workshop. Really, it was amazing. And looking forward to have you again. I couldn't hear the last part. Sorry. Yes, it's indeed amazing positive energy everywhere. We need more like women empowerment, for God's sake. So now for the next speaker, we're gonna continue with our workshop. We have Toastmaster Bharat Venkat. He's a chartered accountant. He's working as a director at Assured Consulting, and he's the current president of ICAB Toastmasters Club. So give me a round of applause for Mr. Bharat.
Thank you, Toastmaster Zizu. I hope I'm pronouncing the name well.
Yes, that's correct. Zizu is also working.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So it is a fantastic first session by Sister Nasreen. It was an art of storytelling. I would say before getting into the membership aspect of it, it is the art of presenting the whole content together as a story. So I have a challenge in front of me. So let me acknowledge the presence of DTM Khalid Abdullah, and many thanks to DTM Jahangir Khan for this opportunity to be a presenter here today for this session. And subsequently moving on to this aspect of financial aspects when it comes to these issues. These are quite tricky because, yeah, please.
Can I just say the timer?
Sure.
We have 30 minutes for your beautiful session. Looking forward to it. And the green will be on 20 minutes, yellow 25, and red on 30. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So financial aspects are very tricky because the moment you ask people for money to pay for the memberships, people will have certain issues they might have to come up with, certain last minute problems they might have. So these kind of aspects do come up, but as Sister Nasreen mentioned, it is your rapport which you build with your members that will help in your ongoing renewals, because you might be lucky with the member coming in through a referral, through coming as a guest for a previous meeting, but then will the person continue for the next 6-month term? Will the person continue for the coming year? Will the person continue with their goals moving forward? So for that relationship, that trust has to be built. So that's good that we had this first session from Sister Nasreen. So the trust has been built. So I'm going with the assumption that the trust has been built. Now we come to the aspect of collecting the money and ensuring the club runs fine. So let me share my screen with you. I hope everyone is able to see the screen.
Yes.
Can I see a thumbs up?
Yes, I can see.
Yes, fantastic. I'll start with a profit and loss statement. I know it would be nice to first comment about financial literacy, comment about how you go about doing things. But first thing which I want you to know first is, what does a profit and loss statement look like? What are the various aspects involved in it? Because once you understand this, you'll start appreciating the role of finance in managing the funds of a club and to ensure that timely payments are made when it comes to membership dues, when it comes to the expenses for the newsletters, when it comes to the speech contest, getting the awards, getting the documentation in place, paying for the hotel bills, getting a place for you to conduct those meetings. So this is basically the various headings which you can expect in a profit and loss statement, which is done for the year. There are no figures here. These are just empty because this is for you to actually incur those expenses, generate that revenue and fill this up. So currently it's a clean slate for each one of us. How we go about doing this, how we fill this is something which I'll take you through as part of this workshop. The first aspect is the membership dues collection. This is the revenue for the club from the members, the money which you collect as a 6-month term, and then the subsequent renewal over there. The next aspect is the fundraising revenue. Now, this is something which is we should not forget, because here we look at aspects of collecting money through the youth leadership program. Speechcraft program is one aspect wherein you take a token fee for the member to join in, so that you are covering up for the stationery cost, the TMI fees, etc. involved over there. These fundraising is actually for your editorial which you're doing, for your publications, your newsletters which you're doing, the magazines which you're rolling out. You could place strategic advertisements within these newsletters and generate funds so that your newsletter goes out for free. So this is something which you can, wherever you're located, wherever your offices are, wherever your companies would definitely be interested to invest a small token amount, which at least covers for your printing and stationery cost, your designing cost. You could have your own VPPR who designs that voice magazine. Nowadays, you're just putting up, since it's virtual meetings, people are just sharing soft copies. But earlier, what used to happen, we used to print a few copies. And whenever we used to have some dignitaries coming in, some guests coming in, they should have a look and feel of what is the stationery involved in the club. So they can, at least they have something to take back home. So by this, you can cover these costs. So this is your total revenue part. Now coming to the expenses, here you have first your Toastmaster fees, which you pay on a 6-monthly basis, which is $45 per member per 6-month term. And then it's the culmination of all the various expenses, which we'll come to in the subsequent slides. So here you have the revenue as well as the expenses. Moving on, we have the budget. Now, when we look at budget, why do we have this budget? Because you have an expense, you have an income, and that's it. You're done. But then it has to be in a planned manner. At the beginning of the year, you don't know how much funds do you need? How much funds do you require to run the club? How are you going to end up with at the end of the year? Are you going to end up with a surplus? Or is anyone going to be very benevolent and going to put funds from his own pocket? It does not happen that way. So we need to plan sufficiently and to ensure that there is a buffer created so that we charge accordingly. So this budget is actually a guide which can help the club plan for the future. It takes care of your income and expenditures. So what I would suggest is, once you have the figures planned at the beginning of the year, that this is how much I'm going to charge for each member who's going to come physical. And right now we have this flavor of the season is hybrid meetings. So in hybrid meetings, you have people who are very much here in your local base, or people who have traveled across, but they're not keen to attend physical meetings. But the point here is they need to be firm in their stand. If they say they're going to come for physical meetings, the fees are accordingly structured. If they are going to come for only virtual meetings, you can't obviously be charging the same fees, because it would be a deterrent for them to continue with the club on that cost. So herein, you need to give them a discounted fee so that it becomes attractive for them to continue with this club. And also for them subsequently to think, okay, now probably the COVID situation is taken care of. They feel more comfort. They've taken their doses of vaccine, and then they automatically can come for these physical meetings. So that is where you need to give them that opportunity to come back. So herein, you need to have two different fee structures for people attending physical meetings and people attending the meetings with the comfort of their homes. So you would say, okay, I'm looking at it from the point of view of a virtual attendee. And then subsequently in the next meeting, you say, no, I'll come physical. So herein, it could create a certain disruption within the team that, this person has paid for being a member who is a virtual member. But so the costs involved for physical meetings are obviously more. So that's why you need to get a firm response from the member. Is he going to participate in physical meetings only, or is he going to be virtual, or is he just going to be someone who will come sometimes physical, sometimes virtual? Then you have to charge him based a physical meeting. So when I mentioned a profit and loss in my initial slide, there is a certain point which might come up, which is the closing statement here. Does the club budget have to break even? Can there be a profit? This is a non-profit organization. It's a club. You're not here to make profits, obviously, but there is a good reason for you to budget sufficiently so that you end up with a positive figure, because that is what will build you for the future. You need to break even. That is your worst case scenario, is how I would put it. But efficiently, you need to try to generate funds so that you are have the cushion for moving forward. This is a sample budget which I've created. Here it's a 20 member base. I'm assuming here all 20 are going to be physical members. The subsequent slide will be a hybrid model. So here I'm saying the $90 here is basically your fixed fee, which is going to go to TMI. And then you would assume a certain markup on it because you need to pay for your PR expenses, your stationery, the ribbons, the venue cost, the expenses for the food or refreshments, however it may be. So you would apportion it in a certain manner. This is a sample representation of how it can look like. It would vary depending on your club. The fees which you might charge from your members may vary because each club has a different appetite. Each club has a certain appetite, a certain mix of audience who would be comfortable with a certain figure. So that's why you need to assess internally what is the appetite. You need to understand what is their appetite, what kind of fees can we charge so that the necessary facilities can be offered. Now, when I say necessary facilities which can be offered, it's the choice of the hotel. You might opt for a hotel which has got all the technical, you will not have logistical issues. You will not have issues with respect to connectivity. You will have proper food. You will have a proper podium. You will have the whole experience of delivering a speech and an audience. And then that is what gives you the satisfaction. At the end of the day, if you're a Toastmaster, you would expect to stand on a podium and address an audience and to actually have that adrenaline rush inside you. So your appetite is also to an extent linked with this. If you're a newly formed club, automatically you'll have to build that reserve. So that's why when you see below here, there is a net income. So I would like to say from a point of view, you need to look at it from a long-term perspective. How are you building up the club for? Because slowly you need to move from a place wherein you're just coming together to have a meeting to a place wherein you come together and then really take the club forward. When you move forward for your 50th meeting, 200th meeting, 250th meeting, 500th meeting, you would always reflect back how we started and where we are right now. You can do that only when you have a reserve, only when you have a sufficient reserve which is built year on year so that you grow as a club. You're able to improve the standard of the club. You're able to improve the venue. You're able to improve. And automatically what happens is once you start building, the word starts to spread. That yes, that is a club to watch out for. They started out with 15, 20 members. Today, they are a 40 member club. Today, they are a 60 member club. So automatically when the number of members increase, the fees which we charge for the club also increases, but not necessarily everybody attends the meeting. So this is where you automatically end up with a margin. Now here, this margin is the reserve which you can expect once you grow. So for that, you need to build that reputation. You need to build that kind of an atmosphere within the club that they feel connected. So this is where I would link to the earlier statement from Sister Nasreen, that once that relationship, that trust has been built, they will constantly renew, even though there might be instances wherein they would just attend, say, 4 or 5 meetings a year, but still they are active members. They participate in the club contests. So that is where you need to understand that, yes, people would get busy in their routine lives. They are still very much part of Toastmasters, but not able to devote time to attend, on a routine basis. So we need to respect that. And we need to also have members who are, upcoming members. So you would have a senior, junior members. We don't generally call it as senior, junior members, but then you would have the members who have been spent a long time within the club, who know the parliamentary procedures, how it's conducted. So the new members who are getting inducted, they can benefit from that knowledge. So once that word spreads, the club automatically grows. This is for the hybrid model. the second slide. So here what happens automatically, the membership dues, it reduces, and you have two options which you can look at. $90 is anyways paid to TMI. You could add a certain amount of fees towards the cost for maybe an award, maybe a certain stationery which is required for the administrative purpose, and even for Zoom expenses. There are certain expenses you need to pay even for Zoom to have the logins and IDs. So that is that small buffer you need to add towards that. And then here, if I'm just assuming there is a 10-member mix of people in physical meetings, people in attending virtually. So once that mix is also there, automatically you will find the food and venue expenses, the other expenses have reduced, because automatically the size of the hall or the place wherein you assemble would be smaller. The charge out would be much less, and your margins would also be sufficiently less. So you might be, I have used this word very often today, reserve. Why do we need this reserve? Because there could be a scenario wherein you might run out of cash. You have not budgeted sufficiently. So do we again go out to members and say, okay, everybody has to pay $50 more because we don't have funds to run for the next month, for the coming months. We had our timing device, it broke. Last meeting, we expected 3 guests, but 5 came, and we couldn't say no. So there could be a lot of cases wherein your number of guests may increase, certain expenses may come up. You might have expected to buy the awards for a certain budget, but when you went to the shop, the price just went up. When you paid for the the awards for the XCOM or various prices which you may have, the pins are lost, and then you buy a new set of pins. So there could be n number of scenarios which happens because this loss of pin, loss of these banners and other things, when there is a transition from one term to another, things can get lost, things can get misplaced. Your sergeant at arms, who is the custodian, might just forget where he kept it. There could be n number of situations wherein you might have to end up spending some extra money to buy the same item which you had, or certain technological issues can happen. Your timing device is lost, you buy a new timing device because it's an unreliable thing, things can go wrong. So for that, you need to build up a reserve, because you should not, again, it doesn't augur well for a club to time and again revisit their members and say, we didn't budget properly. So keep a certain cushion, have a certain reserve which is extra. Ideally speaking, from your overall expenses and other things, add another 10% minimum so that it takes care of your contingencies and to cover up for the unexpected increase in expenditures. This is one point I mentioned on the club appetite. So you need to bounce it with the club members itself. You need to have a brainstorming session with them, that what do they expect from the club? What kind of ambience do they want? What kind of experience would they like? There would be members who say that we're not here for the food. We are here to deliver our speeches and then go back home. There would be certain members who say that by the time the meetings get over, it's past my dinner time, so I need to have food. So unless there is food, I don't want to be part of this club. You would have n number of members creating their own views and perceptions of how they want to see. So this is where you need to collectively bring everybody together, understand what is the club's appetite, what is the fees which we can charge, and at the end, go with the majority. And as Sister Nasreen said, sometimes you need to cut the rope. So there are certain members who might not want to be part of the club because the plan which is there, the vision which they have over a period of time, it has changed from the broader majority's viewpoint. So their views, if there are 1 or 2, you might have to refer them to some other club. But it should not hamper the atmosphere of the other members within the club, because it would create a sense of mistrust within the members as well, that I'm getting contrasting views from people. This club is not thinking long term. This club is not thinking from the point of view of its members, its concerns. We are not getting heard. The XCOM is very prejudiced in its decisions. It's a one-man show. It's only the president who takes the call. He doesn't even consider his XCOM. There could be n number of things which people might come up with their justifications to be the truth. So what the best practice is, generally when you look at reserves, when you are a club which is say 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years old, you need to at least have reserves, which takes care of your 3 to 6 month expenses. Even if there is any disruption, any issues which comes up, you should be in a position to take it forward. One example I can give for is the club which I am a part of, which is ICAP Toastmasters Club. So here what happened is when COVID struck in 2020, we only charged the TMI fees, not even any administrative overheads above that, because we had the sufficient cushion, the sufficient funds within the club that we will only charge TMI fees because we are going virtual. There are no additional costs which are going to be incurred. And then subsequently, when we moved to the hybrid model, we didn't change our fees by a bigger margin. It was a very marginal increase. And if I say at the end of every month, we are in negative after we went hybrid, because we didn't increase the fees to the original level at which we started. The reason being, we didn't want to lose out on the members, and there shouldn't be a sudden increase for them to feel, because they've got comfortable with this fees for 1.5 years, close to 1.5 years. They have been comfortable with this fees. So suddenly if there is an increase, you might end up losing many members, which will affect your long-term viewpoint. So when a club is always looking at it from a long-term perspective, you need to look at its viability. Once you have the funds, you can absorb those losses for a period of time. For 6 months, you can afford the losses because you know you have built up those reserves. Subsequently, after things are moving more towards physical, people are getting the feel of a physical meeting more, because automatically when they are happy in attending physical meetings, and you need to create that experience for them. Once that experience is created, in the subsequent renewal, you can go to them. We are going back to the original charge out, which was there for the membership fees. People will be happy to pay that, because they would themselves also realize that they have enjoyed the benefit of the reduced fee, and they would also know that the club had the sufficient funds to cover up for that. So they will not feel that pinch, and in fact they will appreciate the club that we have thought about the club from a future perspective. From 10 years down the line, how are we going to look like? So this is one aspect which I would like to say, the core values of Toastmasters: integrity, respect, service, excellence. Now here you might wonder, again from a finance point of view, I would pick the word integrity and respect here. Now when I say integrity and respect, it is more from the point of view of a treasurer, because he is the person who manages your finances. He needs to be a man of integrity. He needs to have the respect of the people whom he is serving for, because he's not charging a salary for it. He's a club member. He's a member who is working in good faith. So here you might have a question: how much fees should we charge? I would say it would be linked. It would be linked to the point that what is your appetite? Check with your members, what kind of experience would they want to have? What kind of feel they want to have from the meetings? And again, another point which might come to their mind is, what is the return on investment by joining this club? In our club, it is a club which is full of finance professionals. So everybody looks at it from the point of view, I am paying this much. Am I getting my money's worth? Am I getting my money's worth from the club? So if you look at it from that point of view, there is a certain ambience which is also required for a club meeting. If you're going to hold only virtual meetings over a period of time, you're only paying TMI fees. The whole people are speaking to a laptop. Right now, I'm speaking to a laptop. There are certain members within the clubs who say that I don't feel that pressure. When I see a live audience, I see reactions. Here, many of the attendees who are there, their video is off. I don't know whether they're appreciating what I'm saying. I don't know how they are reacting to what statements I'm making. So I'm not feeling that butterflies in my tummy to say that, I really had an enthralling feeling when I addressed the audience. I had a few laughs along the way. People appreciated it. There were claps. And I want to experience that thrill. So for me, for those kind of members, I would prefer a physical meeting. So once you have that mix of audience, wherein some members would say, no, I prefer a virtual meeting, I prefer a physical meeting, you have to structure your fees according to the aspect that both parties get their return on investment. Because once you create that balance, automatically you can ensure that the membership is continuing They're able to, associate with the club for a longer period of time. Third question, which you might think of, is what is the accountability of the person handling the club funds, the treasurer who is involved. So here I would say the core value, integrity. He is a man of integrity. He has taken the pledge. He is a part of Toastmasters. And another hint which you can possibly take from here is within your club, if there is a certain finance person, keep him as a treasurer. At least he will know how to handle the finances, how to create the budget. So at least he creates a template for the club moving forward. So the next incoming treasurer need not be a person from a finance background. They can continue the trend as to going forward. The fourth question here is from the point of view of an audit committee. Now you have the treasurer who is preparing the finances, who is working in good faith, who is a man of integrity, who has the respect of the other members. But then again, in all companies, we also have an audit committee who checks what is happening. Now here as a treasurer, he needs to have the necessary bills in hand. Whatever expense has been made, there has to be a supporting to it to say that, yes, this is made towards this expenditure. If there was a payment made to Zoom, this is the invoice for it. This was the payment made to the hotel. This was the invoice for it, which matches the date of the meeting. So even from the audit committee, somebody checking that should ensure these are not some random bills which are given for, from the ExCom, which they had. We had an ExCom meeting, and then the bill for the meeting is more than a club meeting. This is where you need to pull the plug and say, something's wrong here. So this is where the audit committee comes in and checks whether the committee is working in the best interests of the members, whether the treasurer has the supportings for all the expenses in place. And then again, once you have the budget in place, it is not carved in stone. You need to revisit the budget, whether you are in line with the budget. Are there any additional? So in the subsequent renewal, which happens for the subsequent 6 months, you can look at it that this is where we are right now. Have an honest meeting with your members to say, this is the state of financials. For us to move to the next level, this is what we need to do. Do we have a buy-in from you? And automatically take their count, and you will have an idea as to how they wish to see this club progress. So on this note, I would say this is pretty much it from the financial literacy point of view. I would be happy to take any more questions from the floor. You can put the questions in the chat box as well. Probably the MC can also raise it up. Thank you. Over to you.
So we have a question from DT Mona.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for the amazing workshop that's being conducted by our presenters today. And special thanks for even Toastmaster Bharat for this workshop. Now, my question is here just a concern. I would just want some clarification here. Now, as you shared with us that we should secure our finance, the club finance for the, let us say, for future time. And that means that we will have to keep some balance from the previous year to be for the next year. Is this allowed in Toastmaster? As I believe that, as to my information, that we shouldn't keep any balance from previous year to the next year. Anything we have to share it with the area, so the area will share it with the division and then the district if there is some needs there. And if we can, how much amount we can keep for the club for the next year?
Sure. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mona. Here it is basically for the club to manage its own internal finances, because certain clubs have, as I mentioned, they would have different appetites. So they would charge differentially based on how the members want to enjoy their experience. Certain clubs only go for refreshments as part of their club meetings. Certain clubs say we want to have a dinner after the meeting. So automatically the club fees varies. And also at the end of the year, it is always healthy to have a balance in hand, because you never know when you are going to stuck with additional expenses. Like the examples which I mentioned, your timing device could go, you could have additional guests for coming for the meeting. There would be additional expenses towards the awards or ribbons. Things might get lost and other things. So you need to have funds. How much funds, which you had mentioned, a healthy point is around 3 to 6 months. So you need to have enough funds so that even if certain renewals don't happen on time, even if certain expenses, for example, your hotel bills, what are the average hotel bills which you might have for 3 meetings, 4 meetings? If you are a club which is which is chartered new, if you're a new club, at least have funds to manage for 1 month. At least have enough funds to run for a month, because then you slowly build up for the future. If you're a club which is 2-3 years old, maybe you can move up from 1 month to around 3 months. So create that. So your expense will derive how much funds you need to have. So on a monthly basis, your finance needs to know what is my monthly expense. Apart from the TMI fees, which is there, what is my other monthly expense which I face? So accordingly, you will know that much I need to build up. So I hope I answered your question, but here there is no definite answer to it. It's just a range for each club, how you want to build up for your next steps.
Okay,
and
what
for
I
the
understand. Yeah, what I understand from your side, sir, that now the end that the Toastmaster end year is June. And we have also like a commitment for the renewals for the members who are renewed until September. So we have a gap of 3 months. So that these 3 months we have to keep for them at least what we are expecting to the expense here, right? So these 3 months, whatever the club decided, whether they are going for, as you said, meeting in a hotel or just as a normal hall, whatever they are going to offer. So based on the monthly expense or the meeting expense, we can keep as much as this much of money, we can keep it in the club for the next. Yeah.
Yeah, one more point I'll just add up here. Thank you very much for the question. Because here you need to close your books of accounts, because when you have the next term coming, you need to close your books of accounts. And here, as part of a healthy practice, what happens is we sign off the accounts. The president signs off to say that for my current term, these were the list of income which was there. This was the expenditures which we made. It is signed off by the president, by the VP Education as well, and also the auditor. We have an auditor also who checks all these figures to see whether they are correct from the point of view, and the treasurer also signs this. So there is a clear balance over here. So now there is the surplus cash. Now what happens to the surplus cash, as you were mentioning? This is like an IOU which is signed off by the person who is holding it. You could have the treasurer who's holding. So here, as a practice, it is preferable not to have the entire money in the hands of the treasurer. You can balance it out between the other office bearers like the VP Education and the president. So you can balance out. So depending on how much funds is there, you can balance it out so that that risk is mitigated. Now, when I say the risk is mitigated, suppose the treasurer, who was having that surplus funds, decided to go back and then just vanished. So now what happens to the club's funds? So at least to mitigate that risk, you have to distribute that funds between 2-3 club members. And then at the end of the year, you take an IOU signed off to say that, yes, this is the closing balance as of 30th June. This balance is available with president. This is his signature. He has acknowledged that he's having this much money, which is actually of the club, which is in his custody. Then you have this balance. Treasurer is there. This is the balance with the VP Education. These 3 are the figures which is there. Now once the next term starts, you would have again a set of a new president. The VP Education becomes the subsequent president as a roll forward. You would have a new treasurer. So now you would have funds transferred from the president to the next funds also. So another IOU is created. And this is marking off that the president has settled his funds for the next term. It has been transferred to XYZ, who is the next incoming treasurer or the next incoming president, VP Education. So this money is then transferred. So automatically the accountability is now shifted to the new office bearers. Now they are responsible for the funds which they keep in their hand.
Yes, thank you so much.
I
We have
would like just to add, if I may, before Brother Farooq just takes in, just to follow on what DT Mana just said. Of course, there are, of course, some restrictions from TI and some guidelines. Now, when it comes, for example, to the financial records retention, for clubs, it has to be, as recommended by TI, 7 years. They'll have to keep all of the financial records, all of the audit reports, all of that for 7 years. That's as per TI. Now, when it comes to reserve and fundraising, there are also some restrictions from TI as per the governing documents. You can't, for example, charge more than 12 membership fees for speech crafters. So that's also another cap of restriction that TI has. So I know where you're going with this, DT Amuna. That's why I just thought of adding this. So there are some restrictions as well from TI on how to manage finance as well. All right. I think now.
Thank you,
Dr.
DTM
Farooq.
Khalid.
Thank you, DTM Khalid. Thank you, Toastmaster Bharat, for a wonderful session. I really like the way you have the spreadsheets and everything. My question is regarding the fee structure. It's more not a question, but think of like to discuss with you, pick your brain on that one. Now, we are going to have physical meetings or hybrid meetings. So we may have a mixture of, let's say, one meeting physical, one meeting hybrid. And then there's going to be certain members that are going to say, I'm going to attend only virtual, even though I'm there physically. So we will have a separate set of fees for them. This is a bit of complication, but we have to go through it because it's a transition period. Now the question arises, is it allowed that if somebody pays only the TI fees because they are attending virtual and they attend some meetings physical, can the club charge them and say, because you attended physical, you have to pay for this much additional fees for the attendance? Is that okay?
Thank you, Toastmaster Farooq. Here, I would say on one point that they need to be firm in their decision when they decide to renew for the 6-month term. That do they see a possibility of them attending physical meetings? If the answer is, from our club, we have made it very clear that, if suppose somebody is in Bahrain, I'm from Bahrain location. So if somebody is in Bahrain and there is a possibility that they might attend even one meeting or 2 meetings during the 6-month term physically, because they might think that they would prefer to attend virtually, but they are not decided whether, they are firm in their decision. We say the fees is as good as what is for a member who's going to attend physically. So there is no discounting given to that person, that because if suppose somebody is not decided or not firm in their decision, it's always better to err on the side that you collect the fees from a club's point of view, because at the end of the day, the club should not go out of pocket. You should not end up with losses because of the indecision from the members. For example, if there is a member who is outside this country, he or she cannot attend the meeting physically. So automatically you can, because they can be firm in their decision and you can have that discounted fee for such members. But for members who are indecisive, it is better to charge the routine fees which you are expecting to charge the other members.
Yes. The reason I asked this question, Toastmaster Bharat, is because there's going to be a little bit controversy here again with some of the members. All of these things arise here. Now, some might come. I chose for 6 months to be virtual, but I attended one meeting physical. Why are you charging me for something? And then you also have guests who are coming physically, but you don't charge them. So that is the dynamic. And again, I think rightly you said, it's better to have this fixed and the criteria clearly defined so that everybody knows what the rules are about. I think
Correct.
because these are the reason I raised this issue is because many of us will be taking a first-time treasurer role. And these are the sort of issues, what ifs that could arise, members could.
Correct.
And that's better to be aware of them and be ready for it with an answer before it happens.
Yep. Actually, Toastmaster Farooq, that is a very classic example you mentioned about the guests. This is known fact, because if you have a repeat guest, the problem only increases.
Absolutely.
But then I think it's a collective decision from the club is what I would suggest to look at it, that if a person is not decided, who is indecisive, better to charge them. And as Sister Nasreen, I like the sentence she said, cut the rope.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I think our timer has a question, Sister Hoor.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I have to say this question. Well, my club is actually bilingual, and we used to talk either in English or in Arabic in the same meeting, and then we took the decision to make them separately. One meeting in Arabic fully 100%, and other in English 100%. So we have two scenarios here. One of our members is actually a non-Arabic speaker. She's not an Egyptian citizen and cannot speak Arabic. So how would you recommend we charge her since she cannot benefit of the Arabic meeting? This is my first question. And the other question is about, we also have one of our members who have traveled abroad, and because we're such a big family and big-hearted, he's still a member, but cannot attend our physical at all. So he's only online. So how much should we charge, and what is the process of, I've never seen on our system a different charge for online. Oh, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Here, first point on the long-term member. I have seen in certain clubs here, people who are like the founder, part of the initial charter members of the club, but over a period of time, their involvement within the club has reduced. But the club still would want such senior members, amongst them, so that they can come as and when they get the time and add value to the club. So here it is a call which is taken within the club as to whether you charge them only the TMI fees, because for a fact that the person is going to attend maybe one meeting, or physically, or is just attending virtually. So that is a call for the club to take. How valuable do you see this member to be for that club? And so that is why you need to have a consensus within the club. And also on the bilingual, if I may know, how often or how many meetings in a year do you have the Arabic meetings, and how many are in English?
It's 50-50. We have 2 meetings per month, so it's 50%.
Okay. And you have one member who attends only for Arabic?
Actually, no. All the Arabic speakers are there for both. They wanted the communication and the language enhancement too. So no.
Because you mentioned one exception. There is one member who attends only so how do we charge them separately?
One member is actually abroad, so he's only online, but he still wants to connect with us, and we're doing hybrid meeting also. We have all the tools and all the we have several appetites. I love that we are putting food in our metaphors today. So we have the appetite for everything. It's Ramadan. God bless everybody.
Yeah, sure. I think if it's only one member or something, and if you have the confidence or the push from the other members and within the ExCom, then I think you can definitely create an exception, as long as it doesn't become a norm in the future, because it shouldn't come back and trouble you. So if you feel that the person can afford to pay the fees, it's not a challenge from a financial point of view, then I think you can ask the person to pay. So here I would also you can look at it from that point of view, that can this person afford to pay that fees? Will it burn a hole in their pocket? Because if they are reasonably well placed, and it should not be a barrier for them that if you increase this fee, since I'm out, you would have those kind of members who are very picky about such things. But in general, what I have seen in many clubs here in Bahrain is that people are quite flexible. It's basically from the point that if they are financially somewhat well off, they don't generally make an issue out of it. They generally renew it as long as they want to continue with the club. So you could ask them to understand what is their viewpoint on this, that would they be comfortable to pay the original fees? If they say no, this is my justification for this, and I am firm in my stand that it's my way or the highway on this, then you can take a decision after discussing with your ExCom that do we give in to this, or would we end up with more trouble if people start moving outside your base country? I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much. But I still don't know how to differentiate between the online. I don't know the amount. Is there somewhere that I can find that online or on the
there is no
website?
Formula for it. Sorry, it's your
Okay,
appetite.
sorry.
You know, if you you can manage it frugally, you can manage it frugally. You can manage it lavishly, depending on how much fees your members are willing to pay. So first here, once you have the consensus from your all members, what is the fees I'm going to charge for the term? Then you break it down into your expenses. Okay, how much is the hotel going to cost me? How much is the food going to cost me? Am I going to have a dinner? Am I just going to have mild refreshments, snacks being served? So depending on the collection, you can then decide your expenses.
Okay, I got
so
it
there
now.
is no
Thank you.
set formula for it, but it is the appetite. I would again mention it. If people are willing to pay more, you can have a more lavish meeting.
Thank you so much. I'm so bad putting the red when I consume so much time. I'm sorry. I have to do my role. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
We have, let's take one last question from DT Mona and then we end it.
It's not a question. Thank you, DT Khaled. It's just some points that I would like to share, as I've been a treasurer for a club and I'm also accountant. Now the scenario is always speaking about the cost of the meetings, where the amount that we are collecting from the members, not only for the cost of the meetings, we are collecting this amount and we're putting in our mind for the asset of the club. If the club need an asset, so from where we were going to take, we are going to take it from this amount that the members are sharing with us. Now, another thing is like, for example, the timer device, the pen, whatever we are going to celebrate, whatever we are going to give or donate or share with our beloved members, whatever we would like to, to bring in the club. So, and brochures, when printing, all of these kind of expenses is going to be shared by the members from the fees that they are going to pay. And by the way, the ones who are going to attend by the virtual or hybrid, that means they have to pay also for the Zoom. They have to share this amount with the club will share it with the members. So in this case, I believe we will end by just a small amount of difference between physical and virtual meeting for a member fees. And as said by Toastmaster, I have a
Did we lose DT Mona?
I suppose so.
A call, it seems. Yeah, she had a call. Okay. All right. Maybe we can move on, and then once she come back, she can continue. No problem.
Sure. So I would like to hand back the
Sorry, I
control
received a call, but I didn't know how to cut it.
Okay.
But just let me just put it in very fast. Now, according to the club, how much he is going to charge for, let us say, 7 dinar, more than the fees that it's collected by the TI. That means that this, from the 7 dinar, 4 dinar will go for either for the Zoom, for the things that we are going to prepare for at the end of each term. We are always celebrating at the end of each term, and we will give like certificates, and we will at least recognize the achievers in the club. And by this, we will end by 3 dinar. Now, this 3 dinar, I don't think that someone will just avoid paying it. And so, yeah, to wrap it, just I will say, try with the old members that we will have like a physical. The ones who cannot attend by physical, okay, you can add this much of money. And if you are wishing to donate for the club and for your family, then it's up to you. Otherwise, keep it open with them, for them, and they will decide. And thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster Bharat.
Thank you very much, DTM Mona. I would like any other questions from the crowd. I would like to then hand back the control to Toastmaster Zizou.
Thank you so much for this amazing workshop. I had a question, but it's fine since we're running out of time. So I would like to give the word for Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Zizou. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining here today. It was really amazing. It was really amazing. All of the presenters, all of the role players, all of the attendees. Let me just share very quick something that, even if I want to thank you for what you really did, I would not be able to appreciate all of the effort that's been done behind the scene and today in this meeting. So I would like first to thank DTM Nasreen, Sheikh, Doctor. It was really a great session. Everyone, I mean, I have comments coming from everywhere, cutting the rope. We are learning even something, whatever jargon that you've been using in your club. And I've been writing a lot. So thank you so much. Although you've been sick, but you persisted. So thank you so much. Please give her a round of applause and please accept this small token of appreciation from the PQD team. Next, Toastmaster Bharat, Venkat. And what can I say about this session that you had? It is really full of controversy. Thank you so much for accepting to take that session. It was not really easy to deliver. I know that there are so many permutations about how to charge, how to come up with the best membership fees. I know that we are here today not to come up with this best scheme because it differs from one club to the other. But thank you so much for being here today and sharing your financial literacy to us. Something that I would really take from your session is really reserve. That's really something that I learned today personally from your session. So thank you so much. And please give him a round of applause. And please accept this small token of appreciation from the PQD team.
Thank you very much.
Toastmaster, thank you, brother. Toastmaster Zizou Abdullah, I think you been busy driving from one place and you even change your clothes. So that's also the commitment that we have even from the Master of Ceremony. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Zizou, for being here and marvelously being the Master of Ceremony. Please give her a round of applause and accept this small token of appreciation from the PQD team. Last but definitely not the least, Toastmaster Hoor, Doctor. Amazing role, a timer, the discipline that he had, all of the guidance and even the energy. So the timer is not supposed to be just timing. He or she has to also participate in the session. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Hoor, and please give her a round of applause for your great excellence in performing the timer role, although it's just a timer role, but you did it really amazingly. So thank you so much for all of you for being here and for the audience, for the great audience. I know that we had maybe today not the optimal attendance, but really all of the questions that you had, all of the energy that you had, even those small gestures. Thank you so much, Brother Georgius. The hearts, the thumbs up, the interactivity that we had. So maybe we were 15 or 16 at a time, but it felt like we were even more than that. So thank you so much for the audience you are. And thanks as well, again, to the PQD training coordinators. So thank you so much, DTM Jahangir, and thank you so much, DTM Muna, for being the soldiers behind the scene, for gluing all of this together. And what can I say? I think we have as well from Saudi, an audience from Saudi. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Fatima, for being here before time and continuing until the last minute of the session. That means that we really give justice to that session and the purpose of the session was met. And there would be, of course, many more from the audience, be it in District 20 or be it beyond, will benefit from the session because this would be uploaded to our district YouTube channel, which is really being now a great resource of all of whatever workshops that we have here from members, the knowledge of members of District 20, which would be there for many, many years to come, be a reference for District 20 future leaders and beyond. Thank you so much. And with this, it's not really an official meeting, but if you wish to just switch on your camera for just a small photo that would be stored for memories. Of course, maybe not 7 years because not a financial record, right, Brother Bharat? We'll keep it for some time. Great. So let me then, usually Brother Farooq does that, but I also do it regardless. So, okay, let's keep our smiles. And we have ladies here, so I have to be very careful. I have to take the best photo ever. So please, one, yes, mashallah, Fatima is here. 1, 2, smile. All right, let me just check whether no one was.
Khalid, we are so hungry, you cannot smile that much.
You know what happened? I think I did not take the photo. That's why I'm even hungrier. Okay, let's take one more. Let's take one more.
Need to have a
My
higher budget
apology.
club.
My apology. All right, Zizo, are you with us? Oh, okay. Little ones we have as well here. All right, let's do it then. 1, 2, smile. Yes, I took one. All right.
Alhamdulillah. Okay.
Alhamdulillah, yes.
Thanks very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.